Hello there, everybody. How are you doing today? I hope it is very well. When it comes to the computer world, everything is political, because it is. So it's me again, and I've been working on a script for the next story that's coming up, but at the same time, it's kind of like I've been doing other stuff too. I was recently on vacation for like the first week of June, right? And I was working on something really important, but we'll get to that. So technically, I have the first part up of the Jekyll and Hyde, and I'm already working on the second one, as well as Lanyon's incident report and Jekyll full of lies a statement. I'm thinking of re-recording a few things that I first put up, just because the sound's trash. Anyway, but I'll get there. So, as a painteress, I'm keen to state how to paint things while listening to YouTube videos or watching Tubi movies as I work on stuff. And as of late, I've just been watching the mixed body cams paintings, computer news, other weird things, and all the stuff I've learned that's very political now, especially computer stuff. Because like the distro Artix, my Artix distro, which for some reason this is certainly installed this time because I had to do it again. The temperatures don't read right. I don't know what that's about. I have tried LM sensors, P sensors pulls everything up, but for some reason shit just won't display on my stuff, and I don't know what it is. Won't show up on my conky. I need to look at the LM sensors config at some point. I've just been too lazy too, but that's okay. Okay, so this is even recording? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. So this is present time me, June 10th, 2026 at what the fuck time is it? Almost 11 o'clock. Anyway, I'm just letting you know I figured out how to fix my temperature CPU readings. It was I don't know why it was showing up, whatever it was showing up with, but I had to go to a whole different folder and set that up. So I figured it out. I just needed to fix the script and conky, and then I needed to fix the target path location for my CPU temperature read, because I like looking at that. It gives me anxiety, but at least I know what my computer's doing. So I fixed it. Okay, bye. But me having Artix installed without an AI running on it, because PSU in memory, I'm not blowing up this PSU. I just got this sumbitch. I finally found what I was looking for after having to return it twice, because the first two didn't work. Well, no, the first one worked, and then my AMD GPU, I don't know what was up with it. I tried thermal paste, I tried whatever, no artifacts, it's not old, but it was just, no. So then I stuck my MSI 1650, which I've had this, which apparently is a GPU that just runs on anything. As long as it has, more than 500 PSU, which, good for that. But, when you really think about it, everything with computer is very, crazy political. If you have Ex Libra on your rig, Nazi. Registers as a Republican, baby salter. You don't want to upload your data to the cloud, you hate handicapped people and shit, or whatever they would say about that. I don't know. You're not trying to help humanity, I guess. I'm not sure. There's a whole shit ton that I didn't know about when I first started getting on Linux. And the fact that I'm even capable of using a different OS system, all because a dude wanted to fix a printer at his job. And the job told him no because it was an AT&T printer, and it was considered grounds of suit because rights to repair wasn't even a concept, because capitalism requires us to buy something new and something doesn't work just so the company can get the tax write-off. Meanwhile, the employee is punished because they can't print something, because if they fix the printer, the company can't make money on the write-off. But then the employee gets fired because they can't do the job because the printer's broken. That's political in nature. However, though the computer world is drastic, there is a world I know of that is a much, much more peaceful, much more graceful, and everyone basically has the same political views. And that is the book reading world. That is a completely different story. The politics of those who enjoy books is the strongest when you don't let us have something to read. thing when it came to us 90s kids. We had a slew of shit that we could watch. You know, we had Wishbone, we had Reading Rainbow, we had Ghost Rider, which Ghost Rider was an awesome show. Samuel L. Jackson was in the first couple episodes playing the one, I think his name was LeVar or Jamal. I think he's playing Jamal's dad, the little black kid, which was really cool. I didn't even remember that. In fact, I learned years later, because the show never got to finish their mystery, it actually turns out that the mystery behind the actual Ghost Rider, for anyone who's wondering, remembers the show, was that it was the spirit of a runaway slave who was unalive for teaching children how to read. Because black people weren't allowed to read back then. It's been over 30 years wondering about that, and I finally found out it was because the dude was one of us. It was doing good. But he had to break the law in order to help kids to read, which is crazy. And then, but it also explains why he was scared of fucking dogs, too. I always thought that was weird. There were actually a lot of programs and shows when I was growing up that inspired those of us who wanted to learn to keep learning, and unfortunately, those who simply exist because their parents shared baby-making faces with each other at one point, can sometimes find that learning and expanding the mind isn't their cup of tea. Those tend to be the majority. Then there's a minority who likes learning, and then there is me who just wants to go back to the void and stay in bed with my cat all day because it would be so nice. But honestly, I do enjoy reading, even though it can be confusing because of the dyslexia. Like, it's hard sometimes to gauge when I'm reading, which is why I read books over and over again, because it helps, but I'm lazy sometimes, and I procrastinate a lot, and it's a terrible trait, really. But I do my best, and damn it, it's honest work. But I figured since I'm going to be investing more time into making these long-form videos with my paintings, I could use my books for my Kindle as well as my physical books. I have like over 100 books on Kindle or something, right? That's what I thought at the time. And then Amazon was like, fuck that Kindle, buy a new one. Fuck that PC. We want you to rent these so we can charge you to use your own stuff. Double stuff. Linux, why would we do something for free? Waste money on these products you don't need. You're not helping us with the forced obsolescence we're trying to create. After hearing that little announcement, it was just like I decided to get my books off Kindle. This was a 4-day project. Luckily, I was on vacation. Let's start with it. Okay, so I was trying to set up why, so I can use my Kindle on my rig. And I have a shit ton of books I bought. Those are mine, and I'm confused why I can't have them outside of the website or the group that owns this. And first, it sounded like it was because of licensing. From what I heard from the other denizens of the interweb, Amazon had licenses expire or something on their books, and that could have caused them to want to have stricter DRM on their content. What is DRM? Honestly, I never looked up what it meant. I don't know if I will. But what I do know that it is a type of encryption key, and you need to find a way to decrypt it, or get the key that unlocks the sacred puzzle that holds the files that is my books. Then there's a whole not allowing people to download their books on the PC that they stopped like last year at some point. I think it was like April or May of last year. And then they were like, we're discontinuing the Kindle for PC. Then they're discontinuing the use of perfectly good Kindles because they're fucking old and they can't rig the source code to force you into a subscription to access the Kindle like they want to. And also the older Kindles make it easier for you to rip DRMs because they're the only ones you can, like, you download a book on there, decrypted. Probably not even a DRM on them. I actually had a fire back in the day. We'll get to that. Also, the older Kindles make it easier to download and have decrypted files. Easier decryption. Because Amazon cycles their DRMs regularly for some reason. And in fact, I also assume, like others, that the Kindle, the older ones, are going to get bricked by Amazon as a curve for removing older DRM removals because they sure ain't offering new Kindles to old loyal customers. And they claim that the people who use the older Kindles are only 3%. But it's also like, so what's the percentage for all the other ones? Because then you're making everyone assume that like 97% is just newer Kindles, which is just like, that doesn't make any sense. Mind you, Amazon started as a book site. It originally started as a place for buying books. Now I can buy AI sweaters on that. Crazy how Amazon doesn't even want you to let people download whatever they're supposedly owing. But at this point, I'm just hoping it would work. But then it would also be confusing about how it actually work. Because like, I'm one of those people who, like, after I do something for a while, it's kind of like, what? How did that work? Okay, fine, whatever. So I got on the internet and did my bad, not to look suspicious, and I totally did, but it's cool. Like, I was just minding my business anyway. And I'm just simply giving my testimony. Like, I'm not gonna distribute my shit. I just want it to where, like, I don't have to be on the internet to read. That's my only goal. And I want to put my books anywhere I want to. Like, I should be able to have my books wherever I want. I should be able to have my books in a PDF form. I don't mind that. They should make it to where like Calibra can be on any device readable. I don't need that web application. I found out that, as I have before when it comes to wine, because I decided to try this first, that my rig doesn't like it, and neither do I. If I haven't told you all before, which I'm pretty sure I have with these little like random ones, my rig is a 2017, even though the motherboard has gone from 2017 to 2018, I don't know. No, 2015. I don't know how that happened. But that was not the reason why I had a clean install. Don't worry about that. But it's a 2017 Dell Optiplex 9020. Bitch hates wine. I too hate wine. We're on the same. And it's not the drink, it's the application. Wine is a program that allows you to run Windows programs, but not me. I literally downloaded Wine Tricks, Wine Mono, the .NET files, which took like 3 hours to finish setting up on my shit, just for Wine to not work. And I was extremely upset. Every time I try to use that shit, my computer chimps out like its name's Chud, and I have to R-kill everything before my kernel panics, because it's done it twice, and I'm never using Wine again. However, this is for science, and if other computer wizards can do this, I can do it too. And then like for some reason my GPU just stopped offloading for some reason. Also, the sensors for my CPU temperature stopped working. I've been trying to fix that. I've been doing the LM sensors. I've been sensors detect, all that, and it's not showing up. So now I actually got to go into config and fix it. Probably, I don't know how it messed up. Okay, so by this time, wine is shit for this rig. I don't know why. It never works, so I'm never trying it again. It's just a waste of fucking time. I hate wine. Love it as a drink. Hate it as something that's actually useful. Which, ironically, the drink is not useful for anything, except for maybe fucking up my kid. I decided after that I'll just do a VM of Windows 10, which is a lot different than making a virtual, a VM is a virtual machine, and that's a lot more different to make up than with other distros, because there's a lot more to it than just loading the iOS and selecting what kind of iOS it is. I have to use Virt Manager, by the way, because when I first tried VirtualBox, mind you, I tried VirtualBox on this rig when I had Linux Mint installed for a minute, when everything was easier, and I could not get VirtualBox to work. And it was something related to the KVM kernel, or module in the kernel, and I was trying to turn it off, or at least shut it off, and every time it didn't work. So then I tried a Virt Manager that actually uses QEMU and the KVM module in the kernel. And then I've been with Virt Manager the entire time. It's easier, I'm happier with it, never had a problem with it. Well, no, that's a lie, because I had Proton Mail Bridge running, and DNS Mask was blocking the port I would be using for the virtual machine. So I started looking up how I could fix that, and then I used my brain about it, and then I just disabled DNS Mask. Because I could have set it up to where I just need to move this port, and I need to figure out which port is open, and blah blah blah. And then I just sat there and I thought about it. It's just it would just be easier for me to turn off the DNS Mask, turn on what was the command? Sudo virt netstart default. That's how I started the, whatchamacallit for the Proton Mail Bridge. And then, I just restarted DNS Mask after that. Now, I would have to do that after every restart, or every reboot, because I reboot my computer, regularly, at least, twice a week. Or when I find something inherently wrong with whatever the fuck I fucked up that day. Which is crazy to me, because I haven't done anything with this computer in over a week, and now all of a sudden, the fucking sensors aren't detecting the CPU temperature. I have P sensors, so I can see what the temperature is. It just makes me mad because I want to see it on my desktop. That's why I have the desklets and Conky up there. But unfortunately, she wants to argue, so I don't know what's going on with LM sensors scripts. So I gotta look at that, but we'll figure it out. I don't know why the DNS Mask wanted to hog the port, but then again, I think I put on. I had the Proton Mail Bridge up first, and then I tried to get the Virt Manager, but I had to download the DNS Mask with the Virt Manager stuff, but Proton Mail was already there, so for some reason, I really don't know why it didn't work. It doesn't even matter. I could go into my files and fix it like the LMMs told me to, or some dude on Reddit. I could go on R56 Wiki, or even the forums. But it's safer to protect this computer from myself. Mind you, after all this, I total at least 3 times I had to clean and install my bitch. We struggled. 'Cause I'm stupid. I'm a stupid girl. I don't know why I engaged in this mission. I mean, the only good thing is that I'm smart enough to keep my home partition on a separate hard drive. I'm trying to be a cyber pirate, but I'm not good at anything because I'm not really plundering anything. I'm just taking what's mine and ignoring the rest of this. Oh, so I'm just talking about this because I don't feel like reading a book right now because I've literally been reading the entire time and I'm just tired. I am tired. But back to the mission anyway. So what I did was endure a 5-hour journey of gathering my Windows 10 iOS, which was the easiest part. Then I had to get the Vertio iOS file. I don't know how it was spelled, but it's that one. And I vaguely remember because I put a Windows 10 virtual machine on this machine before just to see how that would work. And I was like, you know what? I don't really want Windows. And then I took it off. But so I kind of vaguely remember the Vertio iOS file. But I totally forgot about it. And then I had to change so many fucking settings just to get the VM to work. And then I had to delete the install files, which was like, why? But whatever. So now I have to make sure I don't clean install for nothing. That's what I told myself. And that didn't happen. That's what I told myself. And then I had to do that right after I recorded this on this day, I actually had to do it twice, because it was just like, what the fuck? It wasn't a full clean install, it was just to reset my stuff or whatever, but then it's just like, But however, I just want to point out, if you've never heard of time shift, you should get time shift. Time shift is awesome. Time shift helps you go back to a point in time with your computer where everything worked operationally, it was perfect, you didn't have to worry about nothing, right? And if you have your home partition on a separate drive like I do, you can clean and install, revert all of like your root, your boot. If you got a swap, you can do your swap too. You can reload all of that, and then with your home file, you can just be like, oh yeah, keep that. And then you can fully reinstall your complete PC, but you'll have all of your data and stuff there. All your settings will be there. Your desktop will look the same. You just gotta download the programs you originally had, but all the data that's from them is still going to be on a partition drive. You just need to get the things that open it up back up. For anyone who knows, a separate home partition or a separate home drive, it can be a lifesaver if you don't know and you hate having to do all your shit over again. Plus, if you have a bunch of icons on your screen like I do, you can so easily see what you're missing. But then again, once you do it so many times, it's just like you don't even need to look. You just feel like, okay, I gotta do all this shit. Sudo Pac-Man, SYYU, Sudo Pac-Man, Conky Manager 2, Sudoku, Solaris, GIMP. Like, you know, you gotta do something. I don't know about other photo editing things. I will always stay with GIMP. GIMP is the shit. I love GIMP. So after about 2 years, and then next thing I know, Windows 10 was back in my face, and I felt like it's been forever for me since I had to look at well, at least since I was at work and had to do some work. Windows being on my computer is not the same Windows as at work, because the Windows at work actually works. But it was just a little thing. I could see the screen, start button, update with a yellow dot next to it, which is just like, what do I need? I don't need to update, I just started this shit. So anyway, I can't exactly strip the D-Derm from the Kindle books just yet, because Kindle made it harder to do that. Apparently, since they digitalized the books, no matter the price, you have the rights to read them from their cloud or from their apps or from a Kindle you have, unless it's a super old one, because they're not going to let you do that shit no more, bitch. So you're not allowed to just download what you purchased because it's their books that they sold to look at, not to own. I mean, until what, like 2025? I don't understand why they don't allow you to download your own books. I know there's a whole licensing issue supposedly that Amazon had, and it's supposedly expired or outdated or some shit, but what does that have to do with me? I didn't buy them books after your contract ended, Amazon. That's you problem. Show me in the contracts and the license where it says the customer who purchased the digital books is subject to the same contract that I didn't sign. I didn't know you not having a license or letting it expire on purpose means I don't have a license, considering I didn't need a license when you accepted my money. Is this the future? I buy something and then y'all pull some Repo Man, a genetic rock opera bullshit because you decided I defaulted on a 99-cent book? Is that where you remember in Xenosaga episode 1 where the one redheaded dude's like, books are so much better, they last longer than a data breach or some shit like that? He was totally right about that, because imagine losing all your books because it's wet outside. That and this shit with Amazon lives rent-free in my head every day because of that game. It's just like there's a lot of things in Xenosaga that just pops up, and I'm like, you know what? They had a fucking point. Even in wanting to keep using Kindle for a PC, I'm not sure if that application or software technically will even work after the 30th, because Amazon announced they were gonna like basically brick that one too. But I went ahead and downloaded all of my books that I wanted for the PC. But I also noted that some of the books were repeats, which I don't know how you have two of the same book. Like, you can have a sample book and then the actual book, but I literally, like, the Everyman morality play with other morality plays and such like that, for some reason that showed up 3 times, and I was really confused, because this is like, how do I have this 3 times? What is happening? I'm afraid. That's what I told myself. I don't know, it was probably a totally different thing to worry about, but I wasn't worried about it. I did this because source code is a bitch, and Amazon could have put in a script that set, or even a bug that sets the Kindle app for PC to not work at all, which, you know, if I was smart, I know how to work around that, but it's also illegal, so I probably wouldn't do that. I'm not sure if that's dependent on the internet or not, so my brain thing was like, I'm gonna isolate my ICM and sever the network connection. Like, I already had all my books downloaded, and I can move them by sharing into memory, but then I never had to take that route, because my rig is very stubborn, and since my Windows 10 VM doesn't have a product key, I ended up eventually using just an email. But after I downloaded my books, I tried pulling them to the Calibra app. I installed onto Windows, which was a bitch, because I had to disable Defender, because apparently all the shit I needed, Windows has this thing where it's just like, we consider this dangerous, and you have to literally go in and be like, yeah, I want to keep this. Are you sure you want to keep it? It's dangerous. No, it's not. No, it's not. I use this shit all the time. I haven't had an issue with my shit for nothing. Well, we think it's dangerous. Give me the goddamn application, Windows. I ain't playing your games. Which, like, what is this nonsense here? And then, like, they finally let me have it, and it was just like, ugh. But at this point, it also means I still can't remove the DDERM from the Kindle file. Surprisingly, some of the books still show up in Calibra, but at this point, I kind of had to wait and see, because, like, I didn't realize that I was doing everything out of order. When I read, things are out of order. So it takes me a while to figure out what order. Like, I don't know if anybody else deals with dyslexia like this. I'm just letting you all know. Sometimes it's a struggle. I apologize for my flaws and failures. Lord knows, something's going to come out backwards. If it's a number, letter, words, I don't know. But something's not coming out the right order if I'm trying to read out loud. I'm sorry. Like, we're all going to suffer. So, I searched on the web on my Win 10 VM. My Win 10 VM. I searched on the web on my Win 10 VM. I love it. Win 10. Yeah. Win 10 VM. Win 10 VM. We're going on an adventure. It's gonna take a while, cause Windows is so bloated. It's driving me wild. Because, you know, I can't rhyme very well. But eventually I learned about the DDERM plugin, as well as the KFX plugin. That comes with DDERM 10.0.1, or is it 10.0.9? I can't remember. No, it's 10.0.9, because that's the important one. It has a particular extraction key, but we'll get there. And it took like an hour. It took an hour to just get these just the DDERM plugin, and it was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, I've been on Linux since October. I've been spoiled with quick desktop responsiveness, trauma-free experience, kernel panic sessions, app images, and CMake, Space Cadet Pinball, and no ads. And I'm back on Windows, and now I'm just irritated as fuck. I'm so irritated. I didn't even realize how irritating Windows was until I touched something that wasn't Windows, and now it's just like, you know what? Kind of happy I left. Mind you, virtual machines are slow in general because, you know, they're running on the host. They're a guest session, and they use less resources than your actual host, so they're going to be slow by nature. You know, I've used Calilix. I've tried other distros like Void. I want to try an Alpine. Void was really complicated. I'm actually going to have to sit there and look at Void, because Void is... RJ's is cool, and the init system didn't. That's what I use. It's a newer system, but it's really, really relaxed. It's so easy. It reminds me a lot of the System D system, right? But it's definitely a SVN type of thing, and I like it, right? I needed a lot of patience. With Windows, right? Technology is a bitch, and I'm slowly learning that as, like, a not pirate in this tough, right? Oh, also, the KFX input, right? It was particular, or at least I was told, because I only had version 5 and below, and that's the one that allows the DDERM, but only 5 can do the KFX input because it was written in Python 2, and Calibra after version 5 was written in Python 3. But then I found out it doesn't matter anyway. Also, I discovered in my Win 10 VM that the Windows Defender will block certain apps that are deemed a security risk, even though I disabled the Windows Defender and the automatic updating, which you can disable whatever you want on a Windows, bitch, they're just gonna turn it back on as soon as they see you have an internet signal. I'm just letting y'all know. It was a fucking battle, bitch. It was a travesty. I even found where I could turn off, even when I found the automatic updater and switched everything off. And like, honestly, I would just disable it on a fucking heart. Honestly, if I could just wipe that, remove, eradicate, delete, shred the files of all that automatic updating shit, I fucking would. But I'm not smart, so we're gonna carry on. Now, at this point, I have all my Kindle books loaded into my Windows directory, or the /users /username /documents folder, because I can't remember the fucking name Windows uses for its file system. I think it's just file system, but I don't know. I actually never thought about it, because I know Linux calls it a file system, but I'm not sure if that's what Windows calls it. Also, Windows uses /, Linux uses /. That fucked me up when I got in the terminal, because I didn't know that. I don't know. But it took me 12 times before I realized I was fucking dumb. And then it was just like, oh, I'm using the wrong thing. Okay, that's weird. That's a difference. So that was the most noticeable difference between the two systems. Other than the fact that, Windows barely works when I wanted to. I went back and learned that there were 3 exe files that I could execute in order to extract the files. You put them in an output folder. KFX Archiver 28 exe, KFX Archiver 282 exe, KFX Key Extractor exe, but then there was an additional file that I had to get that was only obtainable in the DDERM 10.0.9 zip file that turned out to be the most useful of them all. And then I had to learn different commands for Windows, which is similar to Linux, but kinda. Like CD works, I think LS works? No, LS didn't work. Oh my god, Microsoft is fucking trash. So I went out of my way to try to get the Calibre plugins to work, and suddenly the VM is slow and not responding, so I forced the shutdown, and I disabled the auto updates, but it updated anyway. So I sat there for a good hour before it would let me into Windows, and then all of a sudden, there's ads in the start screen. There's ads there. There's Copilot in the corner, and once again, I'm sitting here like,
I didn't download Copilot.
why is Copilot here on 10? This is the exact same thing that happened that caused me to want to leave Windows to begin with, and now I'm just upsetty spaghetti. Now I got some telemetry going through my computer, and I'm not fucking happy about it. But it doesn't matter because I'm on a mission. It doesn't matter. So I have a Calibre, installed the plugins. Plugins still don't work in exe files. It's fucking playing in my face, and I don't get it. However, I was making a mistake, and I didn't realize it until later. So at that time, I decided to send all my Kindle books to a zip file on my Google Drive, and then download that bitch to my Kindle system where I have all the shit there too. And I'm gonna use one of those flash drives to store an external copy, and eventually in the future someone's gonna break that shit, and I'm gonna be there waiting for that kid in the, like, programmer socks. And then at some point it was getting to midnight, and I decided I'm going to bed. And then I got up 20 minutes later because I'm too hard at it. So technically this goes into the 1st of June. After midnight, the plot twist came up in my shit, yo. So that night I was following a bunch of instructions, was randomly following whatever, because I already said that. And during this, I messed with the Windows command line, which I'm totally unfamiliar with. But I was also really curious because it was just like, I kind of want to learn this because this is interesting. Like, I've been on Windows the entire time, but I've never really explored commands or knowing certain listings. I would just do things to get away with, like, fucking with my sister's account. Because fuck that bitch. And as I started to write some commands that I learned about, I heard one of the people in the videos I was listening to talk about KFX Archiver 291exe. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Where is that at? And that's when I realized I needed the DDERM 10.0.9 because it had that in it. The DDERM zip file I originally had only had KFX Archiver 28 and KFX Archiver 282. And I'm sitting there like, what? But this helps create the output file that ends in the .k4i file. That's the type I've never seen before. And I got the output file from it, but I'm like, okay, but I didn't know what the fuck to do with it, really. So my dyslexic ass went back to read more and more and more, and the whole reading one time thing wasn't really helping because I was tired and shit. My brain was fried from the desire to penetrate and attack for the love of the game. So I had to give up on the DDERM for a minute, and went back to doing my art, and I started painting my shit. I guess if I could read them on my Windows VM without the fuckery of an update trying to fuck me again, I should be good to go, I guess. I was getting some of the Jekyll and Hyde artwork done, and as I was trying to figure out why my CPU was idling at 50%, while not showing my temperatures yet again, when the window I was reading on pointed out something to me that I had seen earlier. KFX Archiver 291EXE. Apparently it was meant to be used as the actual extraction key for the KFX output.K4I. And this key I was still confused about, but it was located in C:users, username, app data, local Kindle, applications, and app data is actually a hidden file. I actually turned it on to hidden files, which at least that hotkey works the same in Linux, so that was cool. And I happened to just get more curious about using this for the DRM that's on my books, and simply had to ask where it was. And then I asked, well, where would the key be stored specifically, and how would I get to it if I wanted to, snatch that bitch up? And this took me to the same website I had read 2 days previous, but now I'm actually paying attention to what it says because I caught my second wind and was drinking microwave coffee for cerebral stimulation, and it helped. Oh my god, sometimes microwave coffee is what you need. Just that burn on the tongue because it's too hot, while your fingers are burning from the cup. It's just living my best life. So eventually, I went to where it told me it was. And what do you know? I found the K4I key, or file, or whatever. Well, it's key. But that is the key for the DRM I needed. And I guess there needs to be an output file, which I actually did make, but I didn't realize what I was doing. But at the same time, I was like, isn't that what Calibre for? And the answer is, well, yes and no. See, I'd already created the output key when I downloaded the Kindle books already, but I didn't use the right exe. I originally used Archiver 282EXE with the DRM 10.0.9, but the newest extracted file inside was the KFX Archiver 291EXE. So I was using the wrong one with the wrong thing, and it's just like, okay, this makes more sense. This makes more sense! Because, like, you put it in the Calibre, and whatever comes out of the output file is what you put into Calibre, not the actual files where the books are. I didn't discover that. Because the first time I did this, few of the books transferred out, and then I tried doing something else with other books. I can't remember. And then I tried sending it to my Linux, but it wouldn't work with Linux. And I was like, what's going on? I'm confused. But that's because I didn't have the EX file or the key that goes with it run through my Linux. But I didn't know I could do it on there because I was looking, oh, it's EXE. This is a Windows program. No, bitch. No, you're foolish. It doesn't matter if it's EXE. It can still run on Linux. And I was too dumb to figure that out, and sleep deprived, and using microwave coffee instead of using the freshness like the Lord provided for me at the store. I always make a full pot of coffee, but it was late, and I'm not about to drink a full pot of coffee before it's late. Yes, I'm on vacation. That doesn't mean I stay up all night. I need to go to bed and snuggle. And at that point, I was like, let me find out that I need that key in particular. And stick it in Calibre for the DRM to be unlocked. I'm like, I've been looking for goddamn days. I think this is like the third. Well, now it's the fourth day, maybe. I don't know. It's one of them. But I've been looking. I wouldn't want to lock my shit. And I'll be so happy because I've been fighting for my life. But then it was just like, okay, I know that I could do this. I just need to figure it out, right? But I was excited to see how disappointed I would be tomorrow when it doesn't work. If it works. Well, the internet won't be necessary anymore if I can get my books. At least that's what I told myself. Like, I wouldn't delete my Kindle apps at all. But I know I'm never getting another book from Amazon again. Digital. But it's going to be fucked up because I know I'm going to be ordering books off Amazon that are physical. So now I got to try to find I'm probably going to try to go to just actual bookstores. Honestly, I should just go to actual bookstores because the books I want, I could just look them up and then I could just see if they could order it. There's literally a bookstore not far from it. Support your local bookstore, y'all. This is when I did it. I fucking did it. I did it. Okay, so this is how first off, I'm gonna tell you all, don't do this and let anyone know. Don't do this and like distribute your books. Don't do this and like try to sell your shit. I'm doing this because I want to read my shit without the internet. I want them on my local files. That's it. No one's ever gonna know what books I even have. I'm never telling anybody how to do this. I actually thought about showing you all the visuals of how I did it. And then I realized I don't want to go to jail. This is just an adventure I have. And by the time you see this, it'll probably be too late anyway. But there will be a kid with programmer stocks who will break this one too. Worry not. If there's a source code, there's a bug. We all know. I slept most of the previous day because, I was tired. I still also worked on my art and the scripting for the Lanyon and Jekyll at this time of writing. And then tried out the DRM with Calibre again. But I also learned another detail that worked super easy to make it a lot smoother. The registered Kindle device serial number. Do you know what that is? Did you know what that is? I didn't know that Kindle devices have serial numbers on them. And that's how they're registered. That's a very important detail. I mean, the adventure and the work to make this successful was great, and the payoff is sitting on my hard drive as we speak. So I figured out the whole K4I file is the key, and I had to generate it after I went and deleted and re-downloaded all of my books on it. How it works is you create the output file, you have the key, but you have to do all that before you download your books from Kindle. So I had all of that set up. The important thing is the Archiver 291 EXE. I already had it for most of my books. Actually, I had tried it on the 1st of June, and it worked on some of them. It was just like, oh my god, it works. And then my brain was like, let's forget this for now, just so it's a better struggle. I forgot how I did it for like a good solid 12 hours before my brain was like, oh, wait, no. Why do I only have some of my books downloaded, but not all of them? So, what happens is, I had to put the KFX Archiver 291 into the C drive, username, app data, local Kindle application, particularly application. That's where you actually put it at, right? I had to delete all of the books that I had downloaded, and I had actually downloaded a few previously. It saw that the folder had filled up with some of the books, but also had a few that I downloaded without the KFX Archiver 291 in the Kindle/application folder where the rest of the admins on stuff is stored. And what happens is I need to actually install the plugins, then download the books to my Kindle, which would also create the KFX.zip files of the books that I had stripped. Because most of them, when you get them from Amazon, you try to just straight stick them into Calibre. They come as a KFX TAC zip or dash zip. People say dash, I say TAC because I'm previous military, so it's a habit. So if I say TAC, I mean dash, so don't mind. But most Amazon Kindle books, when you put them on Calibre, show up like that, and you need a KFX.zip file in order to unzip them, because that's an actual zip file. That's when you know that a DRM has been stripped. You convert the books to whatever you want, which I always choose EPUB because it's easier to still put it on anything. It's pretty universal. And I don't entirely trust Mobi. Don't ask, I'm just saying. I also put on my KDE Connect on my tablet, which was kind of hard because Google doesn't want sideloading on Android devices, and it's just like, will you fuck off with that? And it turns out I could enter developer mode with KDE Connect, and I saw the encryption stuff on it and be like, I can break this. Mom always said I was good at breaking shit, so I might as well lean into that. Anyway, I was looking back at my notes, I had my logs, and I was looking at my books in my Kindle, and then at some point I remembered maybe I should download my books and then run the key execution, which is exactly what I needed to do. But before I did that, I stumbled across something that mentioned that customizing the DDRM plugin by adding the Kindle device's serial number and the K4I key would allow the Kindle app to remove the DDRM a little bit more successfully. And this is super goddamn important because I think it made a difference as well, because Kindles that are registered on Amazon website were both the two. Well, for some reason I had two Kindles when I only remember having one. I don't know where the second one came from. The first one I had when I was deployed overseas, and that was back in 2012. So it was just like, what? How do I have two? But anyway, I was deployed over, and I took a Kindle with me to Afghanistan, and I thought it was a good idea back then to get something with books. I don't want a whole tough box full of books, because then I'm going to pay for luggage fees and shit. That's annoying. It was during that time when I first started reading the Hunger Games, and I accidentally found the Hungering Saga by one of my favorite authors, Heath Paff. I like all his books, like Servant of Steel, God Ender, Seven, Warren's Will, Warren's Way. Those are, I love his book series. He's a really good author. He's an interesting author. I really like him. Strangely, the second device is listed as 2022, which is weird because that's when I got my tablet. I got a free tablet when I still had a T-Mobile. I'm kind of weirded out because this isn't a tablet. But I'm going to keep that bitch on there just in case. So either way, I had two registered tablets device, and I never removed them. I don't know what kept me from doing that. I don't know what consciously kept me from doing that. I'm not taking them off now just in case, especially considering I lost my original Kindle back in 2020. I don't even remember the interface of Kindles, except that, it just looked like nothing but a fucking library, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And now, 10 years later, it's like, I gotta steal my books from my own library. It's just, I'm not stealing them, I'm just acquiring them for my own personal use. that no one else will ever. So after the Kindle device, I put the Kindle devices in the plugin. I figured I could just unzip the files right there and got Calibra ready. Open the files in the app. Surprisingly, worked very well with Kindle 2.9, and which everyone kept saying you couldn't use that version, which is crazy because I had the Kindle Legacy and it worked perfectly fucking fine with mine. I just picked up whatever and said fuck it, except with the DDERM zip. I needed the DDERM 10.0.9 because that actually had the KFX archiver 291 exe file that I used to create the KFX output.k4i key. That's the key. And I had to go to users, username, app data, local, Amazon Kindle applications, which was a bitch if you don't know how to turn on hidden folders, but that's for people who don't know because app data is a hidden folder. After I got into the folder, I had to copy the KFX archiver 291 exe from the DDERM plugin and then paste it into the Kindle/application folder. Very important stuff that I kind of missed. I mean, I did do it, but I didn't remember I did it, so then it was just like, whatever. And also, I had to enter the command terminal, and I'm just going to put the commands there, because that's way too much. I had to go into the actual folder on the terminal, which, that's how I learned, that's where I learned backslashes. Well, no, I learned them the first time the backslashes, but I still fucked it up a little bit till I remembered, oh yeah, they use backslash, not /, my bad. And then I put in this command, so in order to execute the delivery of the decrypted files into the KFX output file folder. The KFX output.k4i is used in Calibra, and you can take this key, enter preferences, the plugins, customize plugin, you add this key to Calibra. Also the same window where you can add your Kindle serial numbers as well, but you add them in with the e-ink, I think it is. I don't know, it's wherever. It's in the same area though, same thing. Now, when I first ran EXE, like the first time I remember, before I did it this time, it may be 12 or less books open under Drymon. I'm calling it Drymon. And the rest were secrets, and I was sad and didn't understand. Now I'm looking at the terminal, and the KFX output folder is at the end. I'm looking at the terminal, and then I'm looking at the KFX folder at the exact same time. And I'm hoping to see something different. And I did. At first, I didn't see anything happen with the two windows. Then I noticed the command terminal. And I noticed that there was more Drymon saved in the folder than there was. I like more Drymon was saved than there were secrets. A lot more. About the same amount I had downloaded on my Kindle. And the rejects were equal to the books I left behind or didn't care to download. But now I had a bunch of successful saves. 133 to be exact. And I didn't know I had that many books. But I do now, and I obtained zip files from the KFX output folder, and they were all there. There was no Amazon, there was no amzn.n1drm file or any weird encrypted files with book icons on. It was just book files. I remember that the first time I did this, the files were in a KFX tac or dash zip file, and now they were just kfx.zip, and they were ready to be ripped. I figured I could just unzip the files right there, but I figured that's where Calibra comes in, and I was completely right, because doing it the other way did not work. I opened the files in the app, and surprisingly worked very well with the Kindle 2.9 version, and everyone kept saying you couldn't do that version, it had to be something lower, and I don't have the right version of the DDERM or Calibra, and literally I just picked up whatever versions it was, except for the DDERM.zip, because I needed the 10.0.9. That's the only reason. I don't even understand why I had to go through all this shit. Because Amazon used to let people download their books, no problem. But now all of a sudden, they lost their license and wanted to protect the product. Around the same time, Microsoft decided to make it possible to let anyone have a local drive. It's crazy tasty. And I only recently found out about them creating this complete shutdown of everything, like, not even a month ago. Like, it all of a sudden, it just rippled in waves. And it was like, oh, I can't have that. I can't have that. I was literally willing to give up on this like quite a few times before it actually worked, and it worked. All these companies seem like they don't want to own you to own shit, because when you own shit, they can't keep making money off you. It's the same principle as, like, you'll never get a cure for cancer because pharmacy companies make too much money off of you being sick. Same fucking shit, right? But I still can't help from wonder if Amazon was hallucinating when I looked on my Kindle for PC, because it's like I had multiples of the same books. Also, with the whole, like, 2 Kindles, I've only ever owned 1 Kindle, and that was the Kindle Fire. Dude, but I had that bitch for fucking years. Like, which is probably why I had so many books, because I was literally just reading on it all the time. And I don't know why, but it was way easier for me to read on that than it is on anything else. So it was weird. I also put the serial numbers for my Kindles into this Calibri myself. But it all worked. I had all of my books like DDR and free. And I was like, yay. So then I tried to send the books through memory sharing, through VM. And because I didn't have a product key to activate Windows, it wouldn't let me. Not even Samba would let me do shit. And I was really upset about that. It's like, are you serious? So then I had to reconnect to the internet and then try to send myself my books through email. That didn't work. I even tried my Proton email. You know what happened? The email looked like it never fucking showed up, which I thought was crazy, because this is like, I thought this was an encrypted thing. Why is this encrypted email client blocking me getting a zip file to myself? Like, that's weird. It was like, whatever. So I had to like email everything individually. That didn't work. I tried to email everything in a folder. That wouldn't work. And then I found out it can only take like 28 megabytes in Proton. So I had to use Google. And then I found out it doesn't work with Google. So then it was like, what can I do? Google Drive. I had to migrate everything on the Google Drive, rip it off of there, put it in my local drive, my hard drive, and then just wipe my Google. And now I have all my books. So at this point, I'm very much considering trying to jailbreak my tablet, but not right now. But I have all my books now, so I don't have to really worry about internet connections or anything like that. If anything, I could probably just, like, ship my stuff to myself over and over again. I'm not sharing anything I have with any of you guys, but I at least wanted to tell you my journey and what I did. Hope that you won't, wink wink, do anything before your 30th. Like, I trust you not to go and take this method and do this with your own stuff. I'm just saying, I'm just like, could be considered illegal at this point, but it's not the 30th yet. And I'm writing this on the 9th, so I'm just letting everyone know. I did this before it officially became probably a bad thing to do. I would say you don't do it too. I would say you don't do it too. But if you do, please don't tell me. Please do not tell me. Like, I don't think it's illegal yet. I think it's illegal to post the steps to do it and how to do it or something like that somewhere, because lawyers come on websites and say whatever, and it's just like, that's ridiculous. Like, please don't do anything that's going to get... Well, you're not a criminal unless you get caught, but I'm going to say don't do criminal activities. I don't think I did anything that's criminal, because it's not the 30th yet, but I'm just letting you know. If you do this is for your own personal shit. Don't be sharing your books. Don't be trying to share and sell them. Don't be trying to put them up somewhere and think that people aren't going to know, hey, you shouldn't have access to this, because this should have been paid for, because they'll fucking know. Because when you rip the files, it still has the KFX thing on it. Like, it'll show up as an EPUB file and a KFX file. So people are going to see it and know that it came from Amazon, right? So you can't just publish it anywhere you want to, dude. That's not how this fucking works. Don't do that, because people are going to see it and absolutely know that you got this from Amazon and Kindle, and you will be subject to being sued. So just keep your books to yourself if you're going to do this. Don't share them. Well, I don't know. Do you really get in trouble if you use Bluetooth to share between it? Because, never mind. Anyway, you kids be good. Talk to you later. Thank you for listening, and go away.